Right, so it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. Once again, I welcome all our participants to this exciting series where HR Association of India, along with Great Manager Institute, brings before you the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Leading People in the Current Times. Great Manager Institute conducts a Great People Manager survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers. And the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have 5 managers from the esteemed list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses, and achievements over leading their team in current times. To know more about HR Association of India and Grid Manager Institute, I would request all our participants to visit the link posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce Ms. Haridass Supriya, Director Human Resources, Logic Information System. I would also like to congratulate her over this achievement. A postgraduate in human resource management, Haridass Supriya has more than 16 years of experience. She understands the strategic needs of the organization and holds full accountability in all HR aspects, which include talent acquisition, talent management, talent engagement, talent development, and talent advocacy. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Once again, congratulations, ma'am, and we are extremely excited to have you here. Over to you.
Good evening, all. Thank you, Faisal, and thank you, HRAI and GMI, for giving me this opportunity and platform to share what I have learned through this journey with Great Manager Institute and the study which I did last year. So happy to be part of it, and without much delay, let me quickly introduce, though Faisal has introduced me already. So I have about 16 plus years with HR as a profession, and worked with the logistics company, now with retail and few other IT consulting companies as well. So I have handled all the processes of HR, and have a good, nutritious experience, if you ask me, because I have seen different variety of people with a different variety of industries. So happy to be part of this platform today and this forum. Thank you, GMI and HRAI, for having me invited today. So quickly, to start with, a Great Manager study had given me a very good insights, and it was very helpful for me to analyze, self-analyze, and see where I was standing, and where I have to, reach as a goal with the framework CDI, Connect, Develop, and Inspire. So it was really helpful and very motivating, when we see our own results from our own team, as part of the survey, and the improvisation which we have to go through the LMS, which is assigned to us in GMI. And I'm able to, learn a lot, and was also part of top 100, great managers for the year 2021. So happy to be part of that as well. And today I'm just going to share the learnings, and which I have, taken as an agreement to get it implemented as part of the GMI study. So I would like to share the same, learnings which I had implemented, last year as part of the study. Without further delay, quickly let me share my screen. Please stop me if I'm very fast, because I'm always in rush. Sorry to say that, but let me try to go in slow pace. So just confirm if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we are able to see your screen. Yes, okay.
Okay, so you're able to see the presentation, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So leading people in the current times, and especially during COVID, was really challenging and difficult for every one of us in the industry. And what uniquely each of us, implemented and what are the success stories, is what is there on the table for us today. So whatever we have implemented as part of it, in logic information system, is what I want to share today. So let's quickly go to the framework which I had implemented as part of the great manager study. So first people practice which I had implemented is partnering with team members with the three C's: character, competence, and caring. So these three I see main important traits or attribute which any one of us as a people leader should practice day in and day out, so that it is very helpful for us to achieve the vision of the organization, as well as in achieving people's aspirations. So if you ask me, consistently we have to practice honesty as the number one attribute, and show our team members the big picture and what is meaningful for them being with us in this in any organization. For that instance, make them understand how their role is meaningful, and you should also coach them consistently to achieve the vision of the organization in a collaborative manner. So the first attribute, character, exhibiting honesty, is very, very important for each one of us to to make an effective leadership. Secondly, competence. So when you understand well and when you exhibit honesty, automatically the team members gets connected very well, and you establish the employee connect, the employee manager connect, wherein you will be able to influence them to any extent, and you will be able to produce much deliverables than ever before, actually. So once you connect, they trust you, and they just follow you, with your history path. So very, very important to keep in mind is how you well connect with them, how you exhibit honesty and establish trust and influence them to perform more. So the degree of trust ultimately increases, and you can influence them, and they are there with you, along your journey. And thirdly, the third C is caring. So when you definitely show caring, or when you care for your employees, definitely, and definitely, you will definitely achieve the results which you are expecting. And it's no secret, during this pandemic, we were off balance, and when it comes to managing work and family responsibilities, it was primary or mounting importance for us to understand and each and every employee's demands, needs, and their requirements, and um, how we can flexibly give them a good work environment for them to deliver high productivity as well. So very importantly, what I practiced is caring, the third C as an attribute, so that I'm allowing them to be flexible. And I was human centric, and entire organization was, along with other managers, we were human centric. We gave them the space to operate from home, and enable them with all trainings and one-on-one connects, as well, so that their productivity is not going down. So we were able to achieve a good commitment from all the employees, though they were working remotely and virtually, from other part of or other locations. So these three traits, definitely will help you to reciprocate trust, and give better results from the employee or your team member end. So the first implementation in terms of my GMI study was partnering with the team. So we know that we partner with business as HR, and we partner with vendors as HR, but it is very important for all of us to partner with the team members, keeping in mind these three C's, or the traits: character, competence, and caring. So you have to exhibit honesty, you have to know the competence, establish the trust, know the competence, influence them, care them, so that they produce better results for you. Secondly, listen and learn. The second people practice which I have implemented as part of this journey was listen and learn. Listen to your team members, learn what is their demand, what is their requirement, and understand how you can facilitate them, better support them, make them feel comfort. And because we were working across country, and we were definitely dejected from each, detached from each one of us. So it was very key and a sustaining factor for all of us to maintain an effective work culture. And it was very important for all of us to have regular connects with the employees. We were listening to them, we were learning what were their challenges, and we were able to better mitigate all those challenges for them so that they were producing better and desired results. So, as a responsible HR, we all should ensure that we create a more authentic environment, whether be it they are going to work remotely or whether they are going to be in person. So, a good and effective workplace culture is very important, be it remote or in person, for us, and it is responsible of the HR along with the management to give that to any employees of our organization. So the second one is listen and learn. So listen and learn what are the challenges, needs, wants from them so that they continue to give their best for us. So an example which I can quote is, like during pandemic 2020, there was a downtrend, and there was a sudden spike in 2021 for higher because we had one various projects, and there were a lot of pipeline, and there were about 60 positions to be in our pipeline, which we had to fulfill. But I had just two recruiters, so I sat with them, and 2 months they were just, it was turmoil for them, and they do not know what to do. They were running pillar to post. I sat with them, listened, learned what were their challenges, and immediately we implemented few things for them, which made their life very easy. And we had to add additional contract resources, additional vendors to, pipeline more candidates for us so that the interviews are happening on time, and we have the positions fulfilled on time as well. So we not only coached our recruiters, on the other side we had to coach, we had to motivate, we had to reward and recognize the interviewers too, because to fulfill about 100 positions, there were about 1,000 interviews. I'm just giving you an average number, but we had crossed beyond 1,000. There were about 1,250 interviews which had happened in Logic during the pandemic to, you know, uh, to select the cream of 100 plus headcount. So we had to coach all the people who were part of the recruiting process, which gave us a lot of benefits, and the results were really quality and accurate for us. So we have to listen and learn from our team members and from the employees so that we are able to achieve our results on time. So the third practice, which I am practicing, is empower rather delegate, and of course feed forward. Feed forward is a very nice concept which I learned as part of the Great Manager Institute study, and we had heard about feedback. It was a very fantastic word coined, and feed forward is a concept where you understand what are the challenges, give them feedback, coach them, and how they can overcome the challenges, and how they can overcome their issues which they are currently facing, and how enhanced performance can be given. So feed forward is a very important and very important concept which all of us as a people manager and to practice effective leadership we should know. So, and when I come to empower rather delegate, so when you delegate to an employee, to your team member, what are you doing is absolutely you're just delegating some kind of task assigned activity to ensuring that it is completed on time. But when you empower, you're allowing employees to act on your behalf rather than delegating or a certain powers to them to complete a work. When you empower, they take accountability. When you delegate, it is just a responsibility for them to get and completed things, in a timely manner. So ensure that you are practicing an entrepreneurial, uh, concept with your team members, so that they take the ownership, they fail, they learn out of the failures, and they overcome by themselves. All that you need to just push them and coach them during this phase, so that you are preparing them as your next leader, rather than just delegating and getting things done. Ensure that you empower along with the delegation, so that you get better results. And there is a succession planning, of course, as well, so that they act as an entrepreneur, they identify their strength, they identify their weakness, and they overcome all these weaknesses in a quick short span, with much appreciation. And like in common forums, especially you need to appreciate them in common forums, so that they are motivated enough to drive the engine. So empower rather delegate is another important implementation of practice, which I am currently doing from last year, along with feed forward. So you have to ensure that you give a constructive feed forward to them, so that they work on it with proper training, with proper coaching of yourself. You have to invest, because if you have to create your own successor, then definitely you have to invest time on him or her to coach and to prepare, the next successor for you. So it is important for you. You give an entrepreneurial powers to them, so that they execute, the work, uh, and deliver to you as expected. And this is a last slide. These are few of the initiatives, as part of people practice, which we did in Logic, where while people were working from home, we ensured that we give awareness on domestic violence along with POSH. And then we did a couple of family engagements where we went uh, a step beyond employees, and we started engaging their family. Like if they have kids, we were conducting some competitions for them. We were conducting competitions like painting, drawing, acting, dancing, singing. In the common forum, we created many meetings, and we brought in all the kids, and we conducted competitions. We also recognized them with gift vouchers. So beyond employee, what we can do is, we had reached to their own, we engaged them, we engaged their family too, to compete with other family members of the Logic, so that they get engaged, they get connected as a family. So this was another initiative, because all of us were staying apart, and they were just we were facing our own family members day in and day out, wherein we were not able to step out, and we were not allowed to as well. So we thought this would help us, in better engagement of the employees, as well as extending them to the family members. So this was one of the practice we did. Along with that, we also did co-fund, for the COVID victim families. So we collected some funds globally, and we were able to distribute for about 7 families, with each family about 4 to 5 lakhs. Whoever has lost, the family member, or be it their father, mother, or an employee himself. And we were able to collect some funds, and we were able to distribute to them. And last one, know your colleague, is very important, because most of us were we have onboarded employees in bulk, remotely, virtually, but we did not have that personal touch or personal meeting with them, even during onboarding process last year. So what we did was, we have something called as structural. It's a tool wherein, similar to LinkedIn, it's an internal tool where we created community groups there, and special interest groups were created. For example, we had an initiative to do yoga regularly in the morning for all the employees. So whoever were interested, they were continuing this consistently, and they formed a group, and they are still continuing to do the yoga sessions. Similarly, there were people who were interested in cycling. So they were connected as special interest group, and they are, on a weekly basis, they are able to go and, dedicate their time for the hobby and the passion which they had during the weekends. So earlier they did not have partners. Now we were able to find partners for them in various special interest group, and now people are enjoying that, and we are also seeing a very good productive environment now, because all the 5 days either they work somewhere between 8 to 10 hours, and at the weekend they just wait for that day to go and practice their hobbies and passion, uh, you know of their own. So this was able to help us to not only connect special interest group or like-minded people, but also across department, across geos, they were able to connect. For example, we did walkathon. Okay, so each of us, we were monitoring them through an app, and each of us were competing each other by walking 10,000 steps ahead on a daily basis. Few were crossing 15,000, so we were motivating them by giving some gears to them, and some GVs as well. So by doing this, not only we were practicing well-being, but we were also able to achieve their or practice their own passion and hobbies during weekends as well. Plus they were able to connect with new team members who were onboarded last year. So these are few of the people practice initiatives which we were practicing during COVID time, and except for the Go Fund, it was a one-time activity. Otherwise, we did all these, during COVID times, and we were able to connect better, and we were able to engage employee and retain the cream layer of our employees in the organization. So with this, I'm done. So any questions can be answered now. I know, Faisal, I was very fast, but I can still answer
Yeah.
some questions. Yeah.
So are we done with the PPT, Ms. Supriya, or
Yeah, we are done. We are done with it. So, I mean, I can go slide by slide. If they have some questions on these, I can definitely answer.
what we'll do, Ms. Supriya, before going to this Q&A session now, we will just run a poll so that the participants can give feedback.
Sure.
While doing so, request all participants to kindly post their questions in the chat box. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the participation e-certificate offered by HRA and GMI. You can claim your e-certificate by sharing your details, name and session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by end of day today. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. So, Ms. Supriya, we have some questions that we have received from the registrations. So I'll just go ahead.
Yeah.
The questions. So the first question is, when we talk about current times and coming future, how our workplaces, jobs, and skills are shaping up? How can we remain relevant in future?
Okay, so if you ask about the skill sets and job, we should ensure whatever we have in place is strengthened. I mean, kind of a competence building has to be there in place so that we do not miss out what the journey we had so far. Plus, the relevant skill sets, what is required, what is the future. For example, now we are talking more about BI analytics and other stuff. So we should see how relevant our or the respective company can contribute or invest in the learning and development phase for building this competence so that they are ready for the upcoming events or happenings or new opportunities. So I would suggest that it is very important because nowadays the skill sets, the available skill sets in market is very less. Plus, if it is available, it is 2x or 3x times. So it is always good to build the competence or the center of excellence for each of your skills. And also parallelly, you build the future skill sets, pipeline them and have it ready so that when new opportunities come, you can quickly map them and move forward. Otherwise, while you wait for the opportunity which is already in pipeline, then you go in search of the market. Definitely, you are going to miss the revenue part in terms of not fulfilling it on time, or by fulfilling it on time with a higher cost. So I would suggest it is the right time to build competence in the area which is already you've been practicing or which is existing versus what is going to be the future. So it is time for us to invest definitely on competence and building the competence.
Nicely answered. Supriya, there's another question. How should leaders enable teams to leverage the crisis time in self-development and keeping oneself relevant for future?
Okay, so apart from what is provided, from each of the companies, the individual should have a visionary, or should be a visionary, or should have an aspiration that he or she should achieve a certain goal, say 3 years from now, 5 years from now, should plot a career, map for himself, herself, uh, and with the respective action plans so that he or she achieves the aspiration or the goals which is expected of oneself, so that he or she is able to meet the future demand or the pipeline or the relevance of the industry. So it is very important to definitely fulfill the aspiration of our employees by giving them opportunities to develop the skills of interest of their own, which each company can invest on, versus what each company would see as future requirements to be pipelined. So we can see it as two sides: one, what company requires for future pipeline, versus what each of our employees aspiration are. So when you fulfill the aspiration of an individual, automatically they fulfill the aspiration of the company definitely, and they will travel along with us for a very long tenure. That is what I have seen. So example, as I said, when you practice entrepreneurial concepts with your team members, you give the accountability. So when you give that accountability, they self learn where I should improve, what kind of coaching I would require to achieve this, or how I can replace Supriya. So they have to, jot down the action plan, what kind of training, what kind of coaching they have to undergo so that they achieve that goals and targets, whether be it personal or be it organizational goals. So it is important to develop oneself at this juncture so that he or she meets the requirements of the industry as well as the companies.
So there's one more question. How L&D professional can sustain learning curve during this pandemic, where employees are working from home and there is no feasibility of in-person classroom learnings?
Right. So how you can engage better, virtually? If you ask me, see, there are several tools, available in the market. I know where it is more engaging while you train them virtually as well. So there are some evaluation tools. Kahoot is one of the engagement tool. So all that you need to just purchase and put in the questionnaire. Like if you are doing a session on, say, Java, for example, so you take the training end of or mid of the session, whatever you have covered so far, you can quickly give them exercises wherein they can quickly answer. It is a live dynamic marking system, like how we see the polls, right? So they can help. There will be a healthy competition on the floor wherein they will be able to see where they stand when compared to others. So in this way, by using very reputed tools, you'll be able to engage them better. And that's what we are doing now. We are practicing it in our current company because we had a set of graduate trainees or campus recruit who were onboarded last month. So we don't know how to engage them. So there are people who are partially reporting, there are people who are virtually connected. So we thought how we should engage. So we implemented this tool, we purchased this tool. There are several tools similar to Kahoot. So it is Kahoot. So you can purchase that tools and you can engage them on the floor and evaluate them, while you are giving them training, while you are executing the training as well. And it excellently gives you the markings and who stands first and who is in the top and other stuff. So it immediately gives the analytics as well on the screen.
So one more question. Can you please share few stories or maybe anecdotes where leaders or organizations have successfully achieved something bigger and extraordinary in the current VUCA times, and how did they do it? Like some examples.
Okay, so if you ask me, many companies were able to see, enabling them better while we are working virtually during COVID times was first foremost thing which they have practiced. Secondly, communication. So communicating transparently the big picture to all the employees or to the workforce was very important fact. Be it they are going to downsize, be it they are going to growing phase, the happy stories, the bad stories have to be shared so that they feel that they are included or they feel inclusive with the organization and they understand the actual trend of the organization. So I feel that enabling them and being transparent and highly communicating management was very successful during this COVID times. Plus connecting individually with your workforce matters a lot because you are working remote and you do not know. You will see people online, suddenly you will see offline, they come back telling stories that there was no power, I do not have a UPS, that I do not have a DG and other stuff. Benefit of doubt we have to give to the employees. But however, the commitment can be established when you establish that trust with them. So as I said, the 3 C's: you exhibit honesty, you influence them, you establish the connect, and definitely they get committed with you and they will fall in place definitely. So these 3 things are very important to be practiced actually. So you have to enable them, you have to communicate at a high frequency, plus you have to definitely connect well with the workforce, at least weekly once. So there are many companies who are practicing like coffee, Friday coffees, Monday musings. There are a lot of companies which were doing this. So they can definitely implement. Some works, some do not works, because each of them have their own different way of interest and practicing it. So it is very important for us what works well for a particular organization, what works well to that particular workforce. We have to understand as a HR, because the same Excel may not fit in 2 Excel, and two Excel may not fit in S. So we need to understand. So that is why I say we have to create that culture. We have to understand the culture very well. We have to understand the workflows. Unless they connect, unless they communicate well, you are not going to understand, and you're not going to implement the practice which is apt for your, or which is accurate for your company. So end of the day, it is understanding, connecting, and building trust matters a lot.
Very rightly said, Ms. Supriya. So there's one more question. How should an HR leader ensure that diverse teams join hands together and work for the organization's common vision, mission, and objectives during the crisis time?
So can I take, when you mean diverse across geos?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, example, logic, we have, in logic, we have several geos like US, LATAM, APAC, MEA, and India. Okay, so during this crisis, as I quoted earlier, there were support managed services team, sitting out of LATAM, sitting out of US, supporting various customers. But unfortunately, during pandemic, none of them were able to deliver during on-site, from the on-site. So what we did, so we created, we were the recovery, disaster recovery or business continuity plan. We implemented that, and we were able to take more work from these countries, and we were working collaboratively with them. So we had to, give them 4 hours of work, or flexible work, for the on-site employees. And wherein, in back in India, we were 24 by 7 working for all the customers, so that we do not lose out any customers during this COVID because LATAM or US were unable to deliver. So that kind of collaborative efforts worked well for us in Logic, and we were very successful in that during this COVID because of this practice, and we were able to win many projects, and with diverse people from different location, we were able to connect well, understand them better, and like we were able to deliver along with them collaboratively. So when they were not there, we were able to support. When we were not there, because last uh, April, May, June, we were really downtrending, and even most of our employees were falling sick. At that time, we had people connecting from on site to support us. So vice versa, when they were not available, we were able to connect. So wherever there was a lean period, the other countries were, supporting the other geos actually. This helped us actually very well, and it worked well for us, due to which we won many projects.
Thank you, Ms. Supriya. So all the questions were answered very beautifully. Hope the participants have got the answers to their questions. Thank you, Ms. Haridass, Supriya, for this insightful session. The key takeaways are the three attributes that helps partnering with team members, creating an authentic environment, empower, rather delegate and feed forward. It has been an honor having you as a speaker for this session. We are fortunate to be able to witness and work among such a great industry expert like you. Your ideology and perspectives on the topic were absolutely intriguing. I'm sure our participants have had a lot to learn and take away from this session. I sincerely thank Great Manager Institute for their association and support extended. This session would not be possible without Great Manager Institute, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. Though we all know about Great Manager Institute, I would want to welcome Ms. Anokhi Gamre, Business Development Analyst, Great Manager Institute, to talk more about Great Manager Institute.
Thank you so much, Faisal. Thank you, Ms. Supriya, for an informative and insightful session. We indeed could learn a lot from this session. So now I'll be giving you a brief overview about Great Manager Institute and a bit about Great People Manager Study as well. Allow me to share my screen. I hope it is visible to all of you. So, Great Manager Institute is a digital platform for personalized development, recognition, and certification of people managers. We are a sister concern of Great Place to Work India, and we're a 4-year-old organization, and we've done a lot of research on people management and work culture, wherein we've observed that a great organization is always recognized by its people managers. We also believe that managers are the connecting link between organization practices and employee experience. People management impacts the overall organization. So, for example, if a manager performs certain practices, it inspires the entire team, which in turn improves the performance of the organization. In these past years, we have coached or trained over 28,000 plus managers from over 1,300 plus organizations from various industries that include healthcare, BFSI, IT, etc. Our framework, Connect, Develop, Inspire, is our proprietary model to measure people managerial effectiveness across various organizations. Your connect means having regular communication with your team members. Develop refers to seeking constructive feedback from team members and providing constructive feedback to them as well. And inspire means recognizing your team's contribution and celebrating it together. Great Manager Institute has two major offerings, that is Great People Manager Study and Great Manager Certification. Great Manager Certification is a 16-week virtual program. It is our L&D intervention, all right, that focuses on creating high performance and high trust team. Whereas on other hand, Great People Manager Study is a survey that captures team members' feedback on managers' effectiveness. All right. So to talk about last year's study, we had around 10,000 managers who had participated in the study from about 4,000 organizations, which culminated to the top 100 Great People Manager list and top 28 companies with Great People Managers. The study happens in 2 rounds. In round 1, we share the survey instrument with the team members of the participating managers. This survey instrument entails 17 different statements across Connect, Develop, Inspire. Each statement is on a 5-point scale, and we ask the team members to rate or assess their managers on this 5-point scale. Now, however, in round 2, we ask the managers qualifying from round 1 to round 2 to share the 6 best people practices that they perform in the organization, and scores from round 1 and round 2 are considered to arrive at the top 100 Great People Manager list and top companies with Great People Managers. So this was a basic methodology of the study. Coming to the benefits of participating in the study not only gives you an opportunity to get recognized as one of the top companies with Great People Managers, but it also promotes people management and helps recognize Great People Managers at individual organizations. We also help you to understand organization level people management trends, and the study also helps you to assess managerial effectiveness and leadership potential at your organization. This is a snapshot of the top 100 recognition of the Great People Managers. Apart from the recognition, the winner's profile also gets published on Forbes India website. And we also publish their profile on our official website along with our social media platforms. Post this recognition, our Great Manager Institute recognize all these managers and organizations in Great People Manager Awards. So the registrations for the Great People Manager study is now open. If you all have any doubts regarding that, you all can reach out to me or Jaya. I will be sharing our email IDs and the form link in the chat box below. Any doubts so far? Anything you want me to answer? I will be sharing the link with you. Give me 1 second. So this is the interest form link that I shared with you. You can also reach out to me on the email ID given in the chat box.
Thank you, Ms. Anoki, for letting us know about Great Manager Institute. And thanks for the benefits extended to the HRA members. Thank you so much once again, Ms. Supriya, for this beautiful session. We would love to host you again very soon. Thank you. Also would like to thank all our participants for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass this Thursday on the topic Leading People in Current Times, a session by Ms. Sonia Prithyani, Associate Vice President, Lodha Group. That's it from our today's webinar. Hope to see you soon. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now. Thank you, Ms. Supriya. Thank you, Anuki.
Thank you.
Thank you all.